So hello guys, welcome to this new video. So in this video we will be basically starting our new topic, that is the compiler design. And first of all we will look at some introduction to compiler design and then see the phases of compiler design, and if time permits then we will also look the symbol table. Okay, so basically starting with compiler design, so it is a program that actually converts the high level language to low level language. And uh, basically you can see in this diagram that how it is represented. And it is just an intermediator between the high level language conversion to the low level language, and it is responsible for checking all the compilation error and so forth. So coming to the types of compilers, so basically two types of compilers are generally known, that is the cross compiler and the source to source compiler. So in the cross compiler, that you can think of it as that, like if you run a code, let's say the cross compiler basically runs on machine A and produces a code for another machine B. So it is basically capable of creating a code for platform other than the one that the compiler is basically running upon. Okay, and source to source compiler is that it is also known as a transcompiler or transpiler. It basically translates the source code written in one programming language to the source code of another programming language. So let's say you wrote a code in Java, then it can, like, a compiler can be there, a source to source compiler that can convert that Java language to Java source code to Python source code. Okay, like that kind of thing. And as you know that we write languages in high level language format, and basically the hardware or the computer system cannot have that understanding that how to interpret that, and they cannot understand our language. So basically to convert that, we have different phases to convert a high level language to an absolute machine code. So basically this diagram shows that high level language first goes through preprocessor, then the compiler, then assembler, and using the loader and linker it will be finally converted to absolute machine code. So basically we stand at the top of this level. So basically we write here, and all these things are done through some rules and regulations, and after that absolute machine code is there. Okay, and the task is performed as required. So just going through some of these phases in some brief. So basically high level language is the language which we write, and machines can't actually understand them. Okay, and we use preprocessor directive here to make us write them easily. Okay, and preprocessor is a phase in which it removes all the hash include directives and includes the main files in that program, and the macros in that program. So basically it does the inclusion, augmentation, macro processing, etc. And coming to assembly language, so it is neither a binary form nor a high level language form. So it is basically an intermediate state that is a combination of machine instructions and some other useful data needed for execution. So assembler, so it is basically dependent on the hardware to hardware. Like a Mac will be having different assembler for itself than the Windows one. And its output is basically an object file, and it translates assembly language to a machine code. Interpreter converts the high level language into low level language just like a compiler, but they differ in their inputs. And basically compiler scans the entire program, then actually translate it to a whole machine code, whereas an interpreter scans the programs one statement at a time. And one example of an interpreted language is Python. Okay, now coming to relocatable machine code, so it is basically a code that can be loaded at any point of time and can be run. Okay, and loader and linker basically converts the relocatable code into an absolute code and tries to run the program if there is no error message, or if there is an error then it will basically send a signal for raising the error. Now coming to the phases of the compilers, so basically there are two main phases, that is one is analysis phase and second is synthesis phase. So the in this diagram, the first three components are in the analysis phase, and the last three components are in the synthesis phase. Okay, so lexical analyzer, syntax analyzer, and semantic analyzer fall under the analysis phase, and intermediate code generator, code optimizer, and target code generation will fall in under synthesis phase. So these all basically get input from the symbol table, and like they fetch information through the from the symbol table, and if there is any error, then it is handled by the error handler, and uh, like the high level language goes through all these phases and converts them to the assembly code. Okay, so going to the main brief about this. So let's start, like what is lexical. Let's say first of all we will see like what is a symbol table. So basically it is a kind of a table which you can actually refer to for getting the names of the variables and other types of the variables, like is it a integer type variable or a boolean type, etc, etc, and it helps the compiler to function smoothly by finding the identifiers quickly. So it is kind of a hash map, hash table kind of thing. And like going to the linear analysis, like the analysis of the code is basically done through three analysis phase. So first of all is the linear phase, then the hierarchical analysis, then the semantic analysis. So basically the linear analysis, what it says that the every character stream is read from left to right, and then it is grouped into various tokens, okay, that have a meaning, that like a collective meaning is there. So basically one token doesn't have any meaning, but a group of tokens will have a collective meaning to them. And the hierarchical analysis will, what it will do is that based on those collective meaning, it will categorize hierarchically, like that like these stream of tokens are used to input the even numbers or whatsoever, like that kind of thing. And semantic analysis phase will check whether the source program that is written is actually meaningful or not. Okay, so coming to the basic phases, that is those six phases that we mentioned in that introduction to compiled one. So in here, so basically lexical analyzer is also called a scanner, and it takes output from the preprocessor phase and as an input to itself, and convert it in like convert it into leximes or tokens, you can say. Okay, and it is only these tokens are basically only understood by the lexical analyzer, and removes the lexical errors like characters or comments or white spaces, like these things. Hmm? And now coming to syntax analyzer, so it is something it is sometimes called a parser, and it basically constructs the parse tree, and the tokens that were created in the lexical analyzer phase, it will uh, use them one by one, and also will use the context free grammar to construct the parse tree. And the parse tree is basically sometimes also called a derivation tree, and it is basically constructed to check whether there is ambiguity in the given grammar or not, and if the like rules are followed to make these or not. Okay, so you can also see that how like which rules are basically used to derive this parse tree. And coming to the semantic analyzer phase, so like not a phase, it is a component of analysis phase. So it basically verifies the parse tree and checks whether it is meaningful or not, and it also does type checking, label checking, and flow control checking. Now coming to intermediate code generator, so it is basically used to generate an intermediate code, and which is actually used by the machine, like used to convert to machine language. Okay, and the code optimizer is that it transforms the code such that like it consumes fewer resources and produces more speed. Okay, And target code generator is basically used to write the code that a machine can understand and also register allocation instructions, selection, etc. And all these phases are basically associated with the symbol table manager and error handler as shown in the above block diagram. But like in this diagram I showed that how they are related. Okay, so coming to the brief about the symbol table, so basically it as I told that it is just kind of a hash table which a compiler can refer for smooth processing. And this symbol table is used by all these six components. And the symbol table entry is basically each entry in the symbol table is associated with attributes that support compiler in different phases. This is the same thing. And what items are stored in the symbol table? So basically variable names, constants, procedures and function names, literal constants and strings, compiler generated temporaries, labels in source language, etc. And the information that is used by the compiler from the symbol table is like data type, name, declaring procedure, etc, etc. Okay, you can see this as well. The links for these articles will be in the description. And like operation and function of the symbol table is given here. Like you can actually allocate some space in the symbol table by this function and all those things. Okay, this is not that much important, but yeah, you should know. And we can actually implement the simple table using list, linked list, hash table, binary search tree, etc. So this was it for today. And like I hope you would have understood this new topic. Like we will be further covering the remaining topics in the compiler design in next videos. So till then, keep learning and keep watching.
Anchor.